Listen, I was thinking about something the other day. This is the most ghetto war ever. Yeah, the war I'm talking about right now, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, it is a ghetto-ass war. First of all, you have all sorts of crazy things happening like this. What are you looking at? You're looking at a refrigerator in Moscow filled to the brims with McDonald's products, namely Big Macs. Why is this refrigerator in Moscow filled to the brim with Big Macs? Because when McDonald's announced that they were going to close and get their 800 stores out of Moscow due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, that made Big Macs a hot commodity. And Russians are trying to sell Big Macs for $36. You heard me right. I ain't talking nickels or dimes, said $36. They're trying to sell the McDonald's paper bags for $300 each. Now, I know this sounds ridiculous, but doesn't this sound a lot like when this fool, Mr. Quavo, had a trunk full of Popeye's chicken sandwiches? $1,000 each for them Popeye's chicken sandwiches. $1,000 for them Popeye's chicken sandwiches. And yet, now Russia and Russians are selling McDonald's paper bags for $300 and Big Macs for $36 because the ruble has dropped to lower than the value of an American penny. Even sillier, now you have Russians hiding their yachts because they're being seized. So you have billionaire Russians hiding their yachts from countries that are friendly to the West, which is basically everyone. What's next? Russians going to start putting these yachts in their mama's names? They're going to get permed out? What's next with this silly ass war? Oh, I know what's next. You go and ask China for a loan to float you because you can't afford the war that you started. And you want to call your ass a superpower. Some people say it might take 10 days before the Russians run out of ammo. It's a janky ass war. It's a ghetto ass war. And it's time to start the show. It's the Shawn Show, presented by Body and Butter Bakery. On the show tonight, Lenessa Terry, Dr. Ira A Davis, and Tevin Scott. And tonight, Shawn Says, 2 years. Live music brought to you by Joyride. Joyride. It's the only place where you can get some music for free. And now it's time to start the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Shawn Show. I am your host, Shawn, and we got some good stuff coming. In fact, I'm really excited because in our second hour, brother who put together this short film called The Real HU, and I was honored to be a part of that film. He's going to be on in the second hour of our show. That's why we have a later time start than usual, because Tevin Scott is over in Los Angeles. But first, we're going to have, in our first hour, Miss Lenessa Terry from Puffin Pretty. And she'll be joining us very shortly. But first, we got a few things to get on with. And we're going to get down. But I want to bring in my lovely sponsor. My lovely sponsor should be popping in real soon. Kym from Body Butter Bakery. There she is.
Good evening.
Hello, Kym. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you? Uh-oh. It sounds like you had the same kind of day I had.
Yeah. Did they move Monday to Tuesday?
It feels like it. And it's still in rotation.
Oh, we got 5 more of these. But it cracked 70 degrees today, so that was nice.
That's nice for y'all? Well, I guess. Yeah, because y'all had snow recently, yeah?
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Thanks
Can't
for
relate.
sympathy. Yeah, you're in Florida.
Yeah.
How are you, Kym? Kym is out there from the Body Butter Bakery. What's going on in the bakery, and tell us what's up with you.
What is up with me is body butters have been removed from the website. They are available locally if you are in Tallahassee, Florida, but I'm not shipping them over the summer because it's just too much chaos and trauma with all the melting. So they'll be back in October, but I'm introducing sugar scrubs within the next couple of weeks.
Ooh.
And I have more products coming. I'll release those dates later. But my mail purchases have almost skyrocketed. I got a lot of guys are buying now, so I'm going to introduce some new mail products too.
Oh, you mean mail, not like mail
Men.
like UPS. Like
no. Hey, Lady A.
Well, you're welcome, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I know I use the stuff. Like, look at my skin. It looks great.
It does.
Thank you, Kym.
You're welcome.
So what are you selling if you're not selling body butter? So you have like lip balm and you have scrubs and things like that?
Lip balms and body oils.
Okay. So I can still put in your code here, not your code, but your address. The www Body Butter Bakery.
I did not set up a code tonight because...
Well, I didn't say a code, but I mentioned the website. I can still put your website.
Yeah, the website is still open.
Yeah, so we've been spoiled. Kym's been like hooking us up with these codes, but no, she is our dutiful sponsor, and y'all should check her out because she has fantastic products. But she's saying it's warm now, and like, look, you're not gonna have people mad at her because the body butter is melting. Right. In the boxes when you get them in their body butter soup, so we're not gonna have that. That's literally what she said. She said we ain't gonna have that.
Yeah, no, you won't get me. There's no preservatives in them, and I don't want to start adding preservatives. I want to keep it as natural as possible, so no body butter right now.
We got a hot show, so I'm going to get on to it. So you going to watch it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I want to see I think I have an idea what 2 years is about, I think. So.
Yep. Yeah, you probably do.
Yeah.
All right. See you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kym. There goes Kym. Kym is still in the business, but she's just not producing any more body butter unless you're local to Florida. All right. So we have our website up. Oh, I have to put it back up there. But www.bodybutterbakery.com. I will put that in there later for the comments. So Body Butter Bakery, check out all of her products. She's a fantastic sponsor, and she's made the Shawn Show possible. With that said, I'm going to bring in Dr. Ira A Davis. Because I want him, before we get the show really going, I want him to come on and explain something within 120 seconds or less. Because, I like to stay current on current events before we get on with our show. But Ira should be flying in at any moment. Dr. Davis, are you there? Through the magic of IG, ooh, he got dropped. So just hang tight. We're going to make sure we get Dr. Davis up here. With that said, guys, what I wanted Ira to explain is why do a little international explaining. I had an explainer on here 2 weeks ago to talk about the state of the world. Ira's not going to talk that long, but we're going to start a new segment because Ira knows every damn thing. Well, I can't call him Ira in front of y'all. Dr. Davis knows every damn thing, and we discuss everything. So we're going to have him talk about this issue real quick, if he joins with his phone. Until then, we're going to get... All right, hold on a second, folks. the difficulties of IG.
Yeah,
Are you
what's
there?
up, bro? Yeah.
Hello,
Can you
sir.
hear me?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you, Dr. Davis. How
All
are you?
right. I'm good. What's up, brother?
Well, hold on. Before we do that, I got a new got a theme song for you.
All right.
That's right. This is Ira Explains the Ish, y'all, as in issues. So
Yeah.
in 2 minutes or less, Ira, can you explain why Russia doesn't trust the West in 2 minutes or less?
All right. So why Russia doesn't trust the West? I want to first give a brief history of NATO. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO is an intergovernmental military alliance among 28 European countries and 2 North American countries. It was established in the aftermath of World War II. In 1955, the Soviet Union formed the Warsaw Pact. And that fell when the Soviet Union fell in 1991. And at that time, Russia and NATO became very friendly. But that alliance stopped in 2014 when Russia invaded, annexed Crimea. So some things real quick. Why Russia doesn't trust the West? Russia feels that NATO is not purely defensive. It feels that NATO has a history of getting involved into conflicts that do not involve its members, such as Kosovo and Libya. Also, it feels that NATO is a political and cultural project. And they feel that if Ukraine joins NATO, it'll become more politically and culturally Western, meaning democracy, individual liberty, and rule of law, economic and democratic liberalization. And lastly, they feel that NATO continues West anti-Russian foreign policies, which began in the early 17th centuries. And some of these things include being invaded 5 times, the 17th century Polish Kremlin occupation, in 18th century the Russo-Swedish War, the 19th century Napoleon invasion, and it was invaded 2 times by Germany in the 20th century. Those are the reasons why Russia feels that it cannot trust the West and NATO in particular.
Whew, you did it. You got it in under like 10 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Thank you, Dr. Davis, for explaining that issue. I have another issue for you. Can you explain what's going on with Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, and Pete Davidson?
Who? No.
You cannot explain that issue.
No.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. This concludes Ira Explains the Issue. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
Well, we learned a lot there, didn't we, folks, in 2 minutes? I'll talk to you soon, Doc.
All right, bro.
So that was a quick rundown of the reason why Russia does not trust the West. No, I can't talk. With that said, it's also March, and it's March Madness coming up. And I was going to have Dominique Collins come in from ESPN, producer for ESPN's First Take and NBA Countdown, but she cannot show up because she had an emergency. So she's going to show up hopefully within the next few weeks. She says she's terribly sorry because she has what she says is a bomb bracket. I have a feeling she didn't fill out the shit, and so she's a little flat-footed. And so we're going to get Dominique back here later to explain herself. With that said, speaking of March Madness brackets, I have put together a quick March Madness bracket contest. You all are welcome to send your brackets in. We will compile them, and you can rank them up against mine. And the winner of our bracket challenge will be a recipient of my novel, Broke, a signed copy of my novel, Broke, a set of Body Butter Bakery products from me, and also you'll get 15 minutes to chop it up with me and Tyrone. Tyrone, who will be popping in about 5 minutes or sooner, as soon as Tyrone pops in. But yes, so just send in, DM me your brackets for March Madness. I'll send you my brackets and we'll chop it up. What's up? What's up, Tyrone? How you doing?
What's going on, man?
What's up? How you been?
I'm good.
Been a long Tuesday.
Yeah.
How was last night with Lamont? Lamont's gig.
You know what? Funny thing is, I got there right after he went on, so we ended up
No.
missing him. Yeah, he went on earlier than what was scheduled.
Well, who does spoken word early?
Well, we thought he was gonna go on like after 8. Got there around 7:40, and he was already eating.
He was eating.
Yeah, he was already eating, saying that he already went on. So I was like, all right, I tried to support, man.
Tried to support all the way down in Shirlington, Virginia, Busboys and Poets. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, this is my wingman, my road dog, Ty Wilson. Ty, did you hear how Dr. Davis explained the ish?
I did.
Yeah.
He explained 2 minutes of Ukraine and Russia. It all makes sense.
Yeah, we're gonna see if he can do that in 60 seconds next time. But it'll be a different issue. But he can't explain Kanye, Kym, and Pete Davidson.
Who can explain that?
Kanye can't even explain it, and his agent show can't. But with that said, we're about to bring in our lovely guest, particularly for our first hour. Her name is Lenessa Terry. She is the sole proprietor of Puffin Pretty Incorporated. Puffin Pretty is. You look good. You feel good. Oh, you seeing Kym?
This is week 2 of the beard.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at this.
Yeah,
week two. Let me move my comments so I can see it.
Since we got Kym on, I started growing the beard. What's up, Kym? So we're gonna see.
That looks all right. That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You ain't liking it? Is it kind of patchy on that right side there?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Let's see what Lenessa Terry thinks about your beard as we fly in, Lenessa.
Man.
Puffin Pretty. You don't smoke cigars, do you, Ty?
I do.
You do?
I do. I mean, I don't go crazy. I actually got something I'm gonna show y'all. Hold on a sec.
Oh, Ty's got a show. He's got props, and Lenessa's already lighting up. So I'm behind schedule. Hey, Lenessa, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, cool. Yes,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Excellent. Excellent.
You look nice. You look
Thank you.
Wonderful.
I do have a starter humidor.
Ty bought a humidor. He says it's a starter humidor. It looks like a fucking coffin. That doesn't look like a starter anything. That looks serious.
Wow. That's nice.
You know, I do what I can do.
Volume down. I can't hear you as well as I could.
Got some sticks.
Okay, what you got there?
Got my cutters.
Okay.
You know, I do a little something.
You working with a little something?
Yeah, I'm just starting though. You know.
No, that's really nice.
I'm gonna get there.
Well,
you need some accessories from my line.
I do. Hey, you know I'll get them. Shawn knows I'll get them.
Yeah. He will buy them on the air. He's bought stuff while we were on the air.
Okay.
And he's literally like, "Yep, bought that. Bought that." So, formal introduction. This is Lenessa Terry. I met Lenessa. How long has it been we've known each other? Maybe 7-8 years or so.
It's probably been about 6 years, Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
About 6 years.
Right. And she was puffing pretty out one night, and I said hi to her. And we've known each other ever since. And tell us about your brand, Puffin Pretty, and then we'll get into your cigar lifestyle and everything. First of all, before we get into that, what are you smoking?
Oh, tonight I'm actually smoking the this is the Fat Hen by Drunk Chicken Cigars. Actually, female-owned brand. Happy Women's History Month to the ladies. So this is a female-owned brand from a local lady named Desiree Silver. And she's an awesome friend of mine. Her brand has been recognized. They've won awards. So I'm drinking a Drunken Chicken cigar. And this is called the Fat Hen, but it's a torpedo. So this is it. Like, I haven't smoked it halfway, but this is the size of the stick. I just lit it about 2 minutes ago.
So it's a short story, but it's fat.
Yeah, it's a shorty, but it's fat.
You're welcome.
You're terrible.
I guess. I don't know about that. But yeah, short story that she's smoking there is Drunken Chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
a short hen. It's a short hen.
A short hen.
Short
hen. A short hen.
It's all about the chicken. Her brand is all about the chicken. She actually raises chickens, and they produce eggs and everything in her backyard. So that's kind of where the brand came from.
Well, let's talk about your brand. Tell us about
Okay.
Puffin' Pretty.
So Puffin' Pretty is a brand that's been around for about as long as I've known Shawn, 6 years. And Shawn and I met at Civil, the now defunct club Civil.
May it
That was
rest in
one of the best
peace.
cigar lounges around. But my brand sells accessories and apparel for men and women who smoke. Started out just for the women. That's one of my patches. And I have accessories like your cigar holders for the guys, Puffin Gents. I sell T-shirts, tank tops like the one I have on, Puffin' Pretty. Hope you can see it.
Stand up a little bit. We can see a little bit better. Yep, that's it.
And also I sell these now. I have the little like eye covers for nighttime or for the plane. You know, you get on the plane, you want to cover your eyes. You know, cute stuff. And then for the guys, I have the T-shirts. So
Now,
this
did
is
I
the
see
best.
you had like not underwear, but you had like bikinis? Do you
I
still
do
carry
have
the
bikinis
bikinis?
now. I have bikinis, swimsuits that are new for the line, and I'm excited to get those out. They're already, available. But mostly when I'm out doing my vending opportunities, you get the new stuff. So my website is www.puffinpretty.com, and there's a section in there where you can click on the accessories for the men. So I didn't forget the guys. I had to have something for them too because they were like, you forgot about us. But no, I got y'all too.
Now, are you drinking something with your smoke tonight, or are you just
Of
puffing?
course I am.
What are you
Of course.
drinking? What are you
Oh,
drinking,
and
Lenessa?
I'm drinking from my Puffin' Pretty wine glass. You know, it's all about the branding. When you're gonna do it, you got to
Oh
do everything,
wow!
right? So I don't have the glasses for the guys yet, but I'm drinking Bullet Bourbon tonight. Neat. I think I put a
That's
little bit too much in here though. Ooh, might be too much.
there's no such thing as too much. I am drinking Suntory whiskey.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've had
Yeah,
that.
yeah, a little Japanese flavor. Ty,
Now, what are
are
you
you drinking?
smoking? What are you smoking?
I am smoking an aroma de Cuba.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Little
It's
simple,
hard to
little
see,
simple
but
pop.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
Something simple. I usually try to smoke something a little bit
And
more
what you doing,
robust and
Ty?
darker.
Honestly, right now, just ginger ale. I might move over to the wine soon, depending on how the night goes. I actually had
Okay.
that Suntory last night.
Ooh.
It's a mixing whiskey though.
Yeah, it's not,
So
but it's also, it's nice and subtle. Like a
yeah,
lot of things the Japanese do, they're not inoffensive,
yeah.
So you want to keep it light, but it's still delicious. Because you know
hmm
me, Ty, I'm about my bullets. Like Lenessa said, like she's drinking a bullet, but I usually like the rye, not the whiskey.
Yeah,
Okay. I
yeah.
don't care as much for the rye because I think it's a little too sweet for me.
Mm-hmm.
I like dry. Like even my wines, I like dry wines.
Ooh, dry wines. Dig it. So let's talk about how you got into cigars. When did you say, okay, I want to check out cigars. I want to get into that cigar life. What's that about with you?
Ooh, it started with my divorce, actually.
I didn't say when you started to drink. I said when.
No, I was drinking before that. But no, I tried my first stick at 13. I won't tell that full story because my mother's on. Hey, Mom, my mother's watching. Oh, and my Aunt Kitty is watching too. So I'm not going to get into that full story
Hello,
about
ladies.
smoking a cigar. But yeah, when I was still married, I had asked my ex-husband, if I could go to a cigar lounge with him. He was telling me about the cigar lounge, Shelley's downtown in DC. And I was like, oh, cigar lounge, that sounds cool. He was like, well, no, I'm just going with the guys. And I said, well, I'm sure women probably smoke. I mean, I don't smoke now, but I'm sure women smoke cigars. So long story short, after my divorce, I decided to try a stick, like as an adult. And I started meeting people. They were like, you don't know what you're doing. So, of course, men always want to teach you how to smoke. So I have to admit, I did learn how to smoke properly from a man. A man taught me how to smoke. And I then started going to the different lounges. So I knew about Civil before they opened. Like I followed them for months before they opened on Facebook. The whole progress from construction, watching the page. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. But, I had been to a couple other lounges before that. But somewhat little known, if you didn't know about the cigar culture, especially as a woman, you had to know people that smoked to know anything about cigars and know where the spots were. So I even missed out on some places, but I'm fortunate now that I know about all the cigar lounges in DC, the surrounding area, and much, much more. And that's kind of where I started in the industry. I've always been an entrepreneur since I was in high school. I had Nasty Nails by Nessa, so I had this nail salon on my mother's back porch. Dad couldn't stand it with all the acrylic smell. So I was actually doing nails before the big boom with all the salons. I probably would have opened a nail salon, but I went a different path. But definitely, I've been an entrepreneur since high school and been doing it ever since. I'm a real estate agent now, so hey, I got your cigars. We can sit down and talk business. I'll sell you a house. I'll sell you some sticks, some merchandise. Just a serial entrepreneur. I do a lot.
You know, the last thing you need is like pick up some golf clubs. Do you golf?
Well, my golf clubs are right here in the living room, but I haven't actually started golfing yet. I found an instructor. Now I just have to find the time. I've been on the golf course before. I was told I have an awesome swing and I'm going to be good. Apparently they can look at your form and tell if you'll be a good golfer. So do you golf? Because, I'm up for a little competition once I know what I'm doing.
I do golf, and I often don't know what I'm doing, but I do golf.
A lot of golfers say that. They say they're just out there hitting balls, but they're not necessarily good golfers. But I do plan to golf maybe in about a year or so.
So we're here with Lenessa Terry from Puffin Pretty, and it sounds like all these things, these are like almost like wet dreams for guys, to meet a woman like yourself. I mean, you're smoking sticks, you're
Okay.
drinking
You say so.
drinking good liquor, you still beautiful, and you're classy with it, and you could probably, I know you could chop it up with the best of us, and you're also trying to get into golf. So tell me, what has it been like for you in this cigar culture? Like, can you think about what life was before cigars and then after cigars for you, Lenessa?
That's a good question. That is a great question because life got so much better when I was able to immerse myself in the culture. I've now dubbed myself, after speaking with you and having a conversation about tonight, a cigar culturalist. So if anybody tells you that they have that phrase or they said it, no, I said it. Because I Googled it to make sure. I just checked.
No. Yeah,
But I can see myself.
You curated that while online with me. That's right.
Absolutely. So it really changed my lifestyle in terms of moving from like my 30s into my 40s. I'm now 52. I'm not ashamed to say that. Power to the gray ladies. But it shifted my mindset around like the club scene versus like relaxing, having intellectual conversation. Some women or some men think that some women are into cigars to meet men. I'm not going to lie. I definitely said, wow, if I go to a cigar lounge, mostly people with money smoke cigars, so I'll meet a nice guy and he might be affluent and have some conversation. No, not so much. So everybody's in the cigar culture. It's not just the affluent. It's not just people with money. Some people don't have money because they spend money on cigars. No joke. Their priority is cigars, not, getting left together. But all that said, it definitely changed my perspective on meeting different people. It's very diverse, certain set of folks. It is a little cliquish at times, but you meet so many different people from all over the world, literally all over the world. On IG, you have people following you from, so many countries. I travel, I go to cigar events as a cigar culturalist. To fully immerse yourself in the cigar world, you need to travel a little bit and get out and meet people at different festivals and conferences and just network. I mean, it's all about networking and meeting new people for me.
Everybody, you're watching the Shawn Show with Ty also. We're here with Lenessa Terry, cigar culturalist and owner of Puffin Pretty accessories for cigar aficionados and even beginners as well. She's got a lot of things from wine and shot glasses to women's bikinis and fellas t-shirts. So y'all need to check her out. She's got a lot of good stuff on her website at puffinpretty.com. Is that right?
Yes.
I thought I wrote it down.
Puffin.
Yes. And yeah, not puffin, 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 pretty, Pretty.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you said you were 53. And I always say this when I first met you, like you got these silver streaks in your hair. I say you look like an X-Man. She looks wonderful. She got this beautiful skin.
Look, I get it from my mama.
Oh yeah. Is Mom on? Mom want to get on real quick? Well, no.
No, she's not going to get on. She might. I don't know. She might be like, how do I do it? How do I do it?
Well, so you dipped your toe into the notion of your culture and your lifestyle post-divorce. Did it become something of like a thing that you were determined to get into or find something to get into because you were divorcing? I mean, I understand like divorces are, what would you say?
Actually, no, not at all. It was just like, oh, wow, this is the perfect time because I don't have any boundaries. Like nobody can put a box around me and tell me what I can and can't do. It wasn't like he said, no, you can't smoke a cigar. But the fact that he said, I can't hang with the fellas at the cigar lounge, I was like, okay, what's at the cigar lounge? Let me go and find out because it can't be that serious. And I wanted to try cigars. So I was smoking before I went into the lounges. But like I said, it just opened my eyes to a whole new thing. But it wasn't that I needed to find something to do because I was doing a lot of stuff already. Like I said, serial entrepreneur. At that time, just a working single mom. Doing parties here and there with my friends. I wasn't working a business at that time, but once I started smoking in the cigar lounges, and I created my IG account, and I was like, Puff and Pretty. I said that could be a brand. So when I was in the lounges, smoking with the ladies, and so many more women started smoking, I said, oh. Okay, let me give them some little paraphernalia, some cute stuff that they can wear. So that's where I came up with the concept for the brand.
Ty, do you have a question for Lenessa? Jesus, I'm saying Lenessa.
No. I mean, I was just going to say, like, it is a really good culture. Me and the fellas were in it deep. I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years ago. We would have our motorcycles. We would ride out to a 219 restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Old Town. There's a little cigar shop right downstairs. Go upstairs, get some whiskey, smoke your stick, ride out. The other spot was Tinderbox. Out in
Oh, yeah, Tinderbox, very popular. Very popular.
Yeah, I knew I had to take a step back, when we started to get apps, and leave notes about the cigars that you were smoking. Like there's a whole community out there where they leave notes, 2 stars, you got to get into the flavor, the burn. All that stuff. So,
yeah, my girlfriend Susie has the Lit Torch app. I don't know if you heard of Lit Torch, but she has an app where you can see all the happenings, what's going on across the country around different events. You have so many different cigar weeks, so there's a lot. There's a lot in the cigar culture. So if you want to get out of the club, even if you're in your 20s, and you want to get with some sophisticated folks who work hard and know a lot about everything. You name it. You'll find somebody who's a golfer. You'll find somebody who's a singer. You'll find a preacher who owns a cigar lounge and talks trash and drinks, Petworth cigars. So, I mean, you'll find everybody in the cigar culture. Seriously.
And for me, Lenessa, it makes me feel, sorry to cut you off there. It makes me feel so glad to be over 40 and over, to meet people who've lived life and aren't rushing to something. They might have some goals or ambitions, but they've lived life. They've had experiences, and those experiences are absorbed. It's a very ancestral thing to be like a hotep. When you smoke these things, it slows you down. It's not it's not the instant gratification of a cigarette. It's not the instant shoot of some weed. It's like fine dining in a stick because you're gonna have to take time to smoke it and indulge it. And it slows you down and you get to enjoy things a little bit more. At least that's my take. I've been smoking for 21 years, 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was smoking wrong for the first 2 years, but I still kept smoking.
Right. You have to get your palate together. Like, did you ever smoke flavored cigars, Shawn? Be honest. Did you ever smoke a flavor?
Of course. I smoked flavored cigars. And, just like I thought I was doing something when you're drinking, like, I got me a good beer. It's Michelob. Michelob ain't no good beer. What do you remember the Temptations in the 80s? Yeah, drinking Michelob.
Right.
but yeah, it's a different thing, and then you develop your palate. And I like heavy smokes. I'll take a light smoke on the golf course. I like some complicated notes. But the flavored stuff, I left that alone a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a good starter for those who are listening who want to try a stick, male or female. The acid cigar line is a good go-to to start out with. There's a lot of different flavors and things, but definitely don't let anybody sucker you into trying like a heavy sit for the first smoke because you'll be turned off. You know, you'll be turned off if you start too heavy. Just like with anything, if you started smoking wine and your first glass of wine was a red wine, oh, you'd be done with wine. So, you know, you really have to start slow.
Now, as a lady immersed in the cigar culture, what are your observations about men in these cigar spots and your place amongst them? Like, how are you received? Is it a different type of caliber, respect, or disrespect that you receive? Could you talk about that for a moment?
I've seen every last thing that you said. Disrespect, respect, admiration, loyalty, you name it. As far as myself, I would say that I've earned a certain level of respect based on my the people I've met, the people who've helped me start my brand. There are people who helped me with my brand in the cigar culture. And the supporters, people who've supported me over the years, definitely. As far as the men, that was your question. I'm kind of going around it, right?
No, I get it. You get it. You get it.
As far as the men in the cigar culture, it runs the gamut. You have men who disrespect you. You have men who respect you. You know, you get offered trips to go out of town just because you say hi to somebody. I mean, that's a little bit disrespectful when people assume that, you know, you're just going to fall for anything. And then you have people who want to really get to know you and sit down and talk about your brand, who want to support your brand. You have people who admit that they don't know what they're doing and they want help with cigars. So it definitely runs the gamut. I haven't dated a lot in the cigar culture, when I have, you would never know. But it can be interesting. It can be a little incestuous. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there and say that. Because it is like motorcycle clubs. So it's kind of similar. It can be similar to that if that's what you want. Okay. So like I said, there's a lot in the cigar culture. So depending on what you want, you put yourself in those situations. So you just have to be careful. My girlfriends will call me or they'll like meet a guy and they'll be like, you know, this dude, like he's your friend on Facebook. I said, well, he might smoke cigars because a lot of people will send me friend requests who I don't really know, but they know my IG or they met me in the cigars and they'll come up to me and say, hey, I know you from Facebook. And I'm like, what's your name again? I'm trying to, you know, be familiar. But they'll call me and ask me, hey, you know this dude, you know, what is he about? So I have met a lot of people and I have to say most of it is like family and respect. I've known you for many years, Shawn. Yeah, we had a conversation at the bar. You were very respectful. You know, I met you there. You know, I could meet a lot of guys and go on a lot of dates from meeting guys in the cigar world, but I do have a brand. I have respect for myself and, you know, what I do, and I try to keep it business for the most part.
Yeah, and you look great doing it, and everyone respects you for it. So I think that's tops. We are at 48 past the hour. This is the Shawn Show. We're here with Lenessa Terry from Puffin' Pretty. Ty is my wingman here. It looks like he's loading himself up a drink. What you got going on, Ty?
I am. I'm gonna finish this ginger ale. I got this wine I'm about to crack.
Drinking
that
wine.
As soon as that's done.
I think he likes the 19 crimes.
It's the 19 crimes.
Oh, 19 crimes. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a blend. It's a blend, right?
It's a cap sab.
It's a cap.
Right now.
Yeah, it's a blend.
So
I know that sounds bougie, but
yeah, I love my wine. I was a wine snob before I was a cigar snob. I was a wine snob. So yeah, I know my wines.
Well, let's talk about that I wouldn't say transformation, but what's the difference in being a wine snob and a cigar snob? You want to?
It's very similar in that it can be complex. So cigars are very complex in terms of. My dog doesn't like me sitting out here. Come on.
He's jealous.
Come on, girl. Big girl. Come on, girl.
Oh, big dog.
So she is American Bulldog. But going back to the cigars and the wine. Yeah, so as far as, hold on one second.
Tyler, I think the last time you and I hung out at a cigar lounge was when we went to TG's after the reunion show, right?
Yeah, it was.
Sorry.
What was that back in, November?
Well, it was November. That's right. Yeah.
So I was saying.
Ty and I were just recalling this. But yeah, go ahead, Lenessa.
So cigars are like wine as far as the education piece. Like wine is very complex. It's made up of certain grapes from certain regions, right? You have your light wines and you have your dark wines. Same thing with cigars. So tobacco, right, is of course made up of tobacco. Tobacco is grown in different regions. Like you have, you know, Nicaragua, you have the Dominican, you have Brazilian. And there's a composition of the cigars where you're blending the cigar just like you're blending grapes. So you might blend a Brazilian wrapper with a Dominican filler and a different binder. So there's so many different complexities to cigars, just like wine. Mm-hmm. So for me, when I was into wine, it was interesting because it was educational at the same time. So it's a vice, but I was being educated and building my my muscle around social stuff, because, you know, going to the club, drinking wine, drinking, you know, alcohol, you want to understand what you're doing, right? So I got into a wine club called the Vino Vixens years and years before cigars. But when I got into cigars, it was done because I just loved it. I don't really pair wines with cigars like your true pairings that you would do with your whiskeys and bourbons. Right. Same thing with whiskey and bourbon. There's a whole complexity to it that people don't understand. But, you know, cigars, very complex. You know, there are roles in cigars called master blenders. So they're people that actually are like mad scientists when it comes to cigars. And they try different things, and no two cigars are alike. I mean, you may even have wrappers, binders, and fillers from the same country, but they were grown on different farms with different soil, and they were rolled a certain way because there's different rolls, there's different sizes. So when you light a cigar and smoke it, it's going to smoke differently based on how it was rolled, or based on in the factory, you know, how many, like, do they have a lot of veins in the leaf of the cigar? I mean, the leaf of the tobacco leaf. Mm-hmm. So it's very complex, and there's a lot to learn. So if you are like a lifelong learner and you like to immerse yourself, like golf, you know, you learn a lot when you get into golf. So if you like learning and you want to enjoy learning and, you know, smoking at the same time, awesome.
You let your curiosity guide you, and then you just find yourself at a different place than where you were when you first started.
Absolutely.
Speaking of in a different place where you first started, now you've traveled. I've seen your posts and your pictures. You've, like you said, you've gone to different cigar weeks and things like that. Tell us about your travels with are you going to Tampa Cigar Week? I'm going next week. Are you going to Tampa Cigar Week?
I'm not going to make Tampa Cigar Week. There's so many back-to-back, it's kind of hard. So I was in Tampa for the Cigar Heritage Festival. Mm-hmm. That was in December, first weekend of December. And the thing about me for the festivals, I usually go, it's like a family reunion, because I'm going to see people that I know, who I know in the industry. So if I know my folks are going, like I'm going in terms of like some of the industry folks that I need to see. Right. And I do actually set up and I do vending at some of the events. You got the Destination Herf, this is the latest one. You have Black Smoke. They're both in Miami, different times. The next one I'm actually going to go to is in Charlotte, the Queen City Cigar Festival in Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
My girl Drita, Elegant Plume, she's actually going to be hosting that with her husband, and it's a big deal. So I'll be vending there. Then I'll be going to Philly Cigar Week. That is in June. I'm pretty sure I got the month right. And I'll be talking to John about making sure that I'm set up. They have a poolside event and all kinds of stuff. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm definitely going to go to the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival in Colorado. That was the best cigar festival I've ever been to. It was the best.
There you go, Secunia. She just answered that. She will be coming back to Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest this year.
Coming back. Yeah, I actually met him at the festival. Wine helps develop your cigar. Absolutely, wine can develop your cigar palate. Definitely. Dollar bill. I see dollar bill on. Is that my dollar bill? That might be.
Yeah, you waved that dollar bill 45.
Yeah, I see.
Any questions so far, Ty? Because you just got that new humidor.
No.
You got to cure it.
Questions.
So have you treated it yet? Have you gotten it?
No, I have not done.
Ready?
I have not done any of that yet. I still need to add more fluid to my torches and all that. I actually thought about flavored cigars, like custom flavored cigars as well, because I have some friends that do their own flavors, like inside a separate humidor.
Who's your friend? Do they have a brand, or they just do it at home?
It just does it at home.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that's a fun process too. When you actually dip the cigars and soak them and then let them dry. Yeah. I
But
used to laugh at guys who dip their cigars. You know how people would say, "Oh, let me dip the tip of
Dip
my
it in the
stick
dip it in
in
the
the
whiskey a little
cognac."
bit.
I'm like, okay, that's too much.
When I was
right.
in a phase where I thought I had to like showcase I knew stuff, I would do that too, and I'm like, this is actually a terrible ass thing to do. Like, I could be drinking this liquor and I don't have to dip the tip of anything in any. Well, I don't have to
Right.
put it in there. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not necessary. Some there's some cigar brands that already have whiskey infusions in them. If you want those, just go ahead and buy those. But I don't see the need to do all that. If you all have some questions, go ahead.
Sean, I want to ask you a question. So you're going to Tampa Cigar Week. Have you ever been to Tampa?
I've been to Tampa a couple of times.
Have you
But
been to Ybor City?
I have been to Ybor. It was very
Okay.
young. It was a young time, but I have gone to Ybor, and I thought a friend of mine was still going to be there this time around, but he got married and he just moved to Savannah, like literally last month. But I'm going to be there for a couple of days, in a day or two, even after people leave, so I can enjoy Cigar City for myself. I actually am one of those people. All right, it's good to be around here while there's a festival. Let me enjoy this shit while everybody leaves. So I'll be there an extra day.
Okay. Yeah, a friend of mine has a cigar lounge in Tampa. It's called Cheney Cigar Lounge. Check him out. He used to live here, Corey Cheney.
Okay, is
So
that
check him out.
Chaney?
That's it, Cheney Cigar Lounge.
Like John Chaney. I can remember that because I used to love
Corey.
John Chaney. Corey
Yeah.
Chaney. Okay, I'll be there Monday then. Or shoot, I might
Yeah,
be there
but
Saturday when I touch down.
the first time I went to Ybor City, which was year before last, and then I went back in December, I lost my mind in Ybor City. I bought so many hand rolled cigars. Now I'm like, why did I do that? I call myself like buying gifts for people and all that kind of stuff. But don't lose your mind. Just be,
Oh,
watch your
no.
budget, watch your pocket.
That was me in Miami. My first time I went to Miami, like 15, 20 years ago, just buying up all the hand rolls. And there's a Cuban guy. He knows what he's doing.
Exactly. Right.
No, you idiot. You don't have to do all that. But
Yeah.
we're here with Lenessa Terry from Puffin' Pretty. Ty is my wingman here, and he just got himself a humidor. We are still sponsored. We're coming up at the top of the hour. We got Tevin Scott. He's going to join us in about 10 minutes. But we're here with Lenessa Terry from Puffin' Pretty, cigar culturalist based out of D.C., but has gone to places far and wide across this continent in the name of cigars. So, Lenessa, when it comes to the culture, what would you say is the most enjoyable aspect of cigar life? And then what would you say would be the least enjoyable, if you have a least enjoyable?
Okay. So the most enjoyable is I find it extremely relaxing. Smoking cigars, whether I'm just doing it at home, I don't have to be out to smoke and enjoy a cigar. And also the love and the family, like people don't understand. I see Cigar Palace on here, Saucin from Cigar Palace in Virginia. Prime example. Saucin is a female owner of a cigar lounge in Virginia, Alexandria, and she actually hosted some of the ladies in her home. We call each other Sisters of the Leaf. Like, you're my brother of the leaf. You guys are both my brother of the leaf. And sisterly and brotherly love is what it's all about for me. I mean, it's just awesome. She invited us to a beautiful brunch in her backyard, served us Turkish coffee. I mean, we just had a wonderful time. So when you meet people like that, it makes a big difference. The least desirable, I think for me, is I almost have too many options. Like, I know so many people, brand owners, cigar lounge owners, that I feel like I'm pulled in different directions. Like, oh, if I don't go here, if I don't go, I have so many options that it's just hard sometimes to make decisions. Even when you purchase sticks, you have so many brands that you like. I think so. The hardest part for me is like a little bit of indecisiveness on, where to spend my time or where to spend my money on, and because there's so many options, it's just a lot, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
What do you think the draw is now for people in general? Do you think they just initially want to look cool and look like a boss, or and that actually traps them and they actually enjoy the culture? I know some people who are faking the funk, but then like you'll see them 2 weeks later and like, oh, you see, you stepped up from that acid cigar that you had or something like that,
And
like
I think some element of that is fun. So I'm not gonna lie. I think for some people, there's the element of that there for sure. But again, it depends on where you go, who you're around, uh, who you know. Because if you're out with me and you're a beginner, I'm going to make sure you don't look like you're a beginner. And I'm going to educate you, not because you're with me, but I feel like I have a duty because I know enough about it to not let them slip or not let them, you know, pick up a whole bunch of cigars in the humidor and touch all over them and put them up to their nose. So there is a level of etiquette that you have to have with cigars. But I think for people, it just runs the gamut, like why they get involved in it. So for some women, a lot of women will say that their first date with a cigar smoker took them to a cigar lounge. And that's where it started for them. Or they tried it because of a guy they dated. Or like me, I did say, hey, I don't smoke in lounges. Maybe I can meet a nice guy in a lounge. Yes, that's what initially got me into a lounge. So it's just different for everybody, Shawn. I
Do you
think
think
simple.
do you think that's good dating etiquette to have a date at a cigar lounge the first date?
If you're a cigar smoker like me, absolutely, because you want to have a companion that smokes cigars. When I meet a guy who doesn't smoke cigars, I'm like, how's this gonna work? Like, is he gonna let me be me, or do I have to smoke outside? You know,
You about
because
that life for real. Got it.
it's really not fun for me if I go to a party and I can't smoke. So going to a party in the winter and they don't have a heated outdoor patio, that's kind of rough. So that's why cigar smokers kind of stick together and we go to the lounge. I mean, we party in the lounge too. So you have your turn up lounge and you have your turn down, sophisticated, close at 9 o'clock lounge. So there's something for everybody. But for me, as far as dating, I would say I would love that. I would
Well,
love it.
question: what type of fella do you date other than he's a cigar smoker? Do you feel like there's something prejudicial about the cigar piece beyond he has to be a smoker because you smoke? Well, like what types of guys are you looking for, or what attracts Lenessa?
I'm not looking for any guys. The guy
We're
needs to
not
look for
looking
me.
for.
I mean, I'm
I'm
not
not
looking for.
saying that. I know. I'm not getting into any of that. This ain't that
Okay,
show. What I'm saying is, what's your
right,
speed
right.
when you're
I'm
looking
not.
for
I'm
him?
not looking. Look, I'm not looking for love like you were on your show that you were on. I mean, ready for love. Ready for love.
Ty was on the show too. Ty was on the show too.
I know Ty was on. I like you guys, but okay. As I was saying, so what type of guy? First of all, a guy with goals. So you might smoke cigars, but you gotta have goals. What are you doing besides smoking cigars? Do you have your own hobbies? Do you have things that you enjoy? Because I'm gonna be out in the cigar culture, whether you like it or not. Join me, help me out, support my business, or keep it moving. Because really, you have to be able to balance your lifestyle with my lifestyle. And I'm not gonna say I'll be a cigar culturalist forever. I might be grandma sitting by the pool in Tampa smoking a stick at 75. I mean, that's what I see in my future. That's what I see. But right now, I think just somebody who can balance me out as far as my career, all the things that I do in the cigar culture, and just be supportive. That's what I'm looking for.
I dig that. We are at 10:04, 4 past the hour here. And if you've been hearing a bunch of noise, apparently there's a damn crime spree happening outside my apartment here in downtown DC. I don't know what's going on. There's like helicopters now, so they're looking for whoever the culprit is. And I've heard sirens. But it's 5 now, 5 past the hour. We're at the Shawn Show. We have Lenessa Terry on from Puffin Pretty. Ty is here, my wingman. You can follow her and at Puffin Pretty. Let's see, what's your handle? It's Puffin Pretty, right? Just Puffin Pretty _
On IG?
on IG.
Yeah, Puffin_pretty.
Puffin _ and that's Puffin
Yes.
IN, no G at the end of it. Puffin _pretty. And that's Lenessa Terry, and she's also at www.puffinpretty.com. Buy some of her products. Ty is probably shopping right now.
I am.
He is. I know when he has that look, he angles down to that laptop.
The gents red and the ashtray.
Yeah, Ty, I have one more of those ashtrays left. That Kentucky double ashtray, only have one left. Seriously. So check it out.
I got a question from my good friend. Hey, Fonzie, how's it going, Jay? Is top shelf bourbon, in your opinion, the best drink to pair with a good cigar? He says he's with you. Neat is the only way. Of the top picks besides bourbons, in your opinion, Lenessa?
Yeah, so for me, I think when I started drinking whiskey and bourbon, it was when I was smoking. So it tastes a lot better when I'm smoking a cigar. So I saw someone earlier say pairing a wine with a cigar helps build your palate. But for me, the bourbon and the whiskeys I love them when I'm smoking a cigar. And hey, I see Desiree from Drunk Chicken Cigars who just came
Yes,
on.
I see
Yeah,
her
I'm
too.
smoking a fat hen. Loving this fat hen. Loving it.
She's smoking a
But
fat hen. And all these people who are big cigar aficionados, please follow me as well, because I want to follow you back, because I love gaining knowledge. Like you said about golf, I'm one of those people who just want to keep absorbing things about golf as well. So so follow me at Shawn Durham Inc. I would love to follow you guys back. And Ty is over there at Ty Wilson 21. Questions, Ty? You're the newbie here.
No questions, no questions at all. Like we were in it heavy, and you know, I was just gonna piggyback on, you know, the question you asked, why people like it so much. And I think the cigars, like most of your cigar experiences, are tied to an emotion. So it's almost like when you pick that glass of whiskey, you know, you have an idea how it's gonna make you feel, you know, and then it does
yeah,
slow you down, right? So you have time to think about things, and it becomes very therapeutic. You know what I mean? And most of the time for me, like I'm with the fellas. So the fellas, you know, that's like an hour, but we're just gonna talk about everything. You know what I mean? And we need that. You know what I mean? So once a month, once every 2 months, like it is like our therapy session. It'd be
Yes.
like, yo, when we gonna grab a stick? And
Because
everybody knows what that means.
yeah,
You know, and that can be addictive, you know?
and
I was
it's therapeutics, particularly for men, because me and my men, we say it's like our barbershop. But the thing is, I'm bald. I don't have to go to a barbershop. I was raised in a barbershop, and I know how all those conversations will be volleyed back and forth, and you get to know people, different stripes. And with my dad being a barber, he was like a talk show host, dealing with all these different personalities. And when I go to a cigar lounge, I'm talking to different people, getting into different conversations. It's relaxing, but it's engaging at the same time. And
exactly.
so it's a wonderful social outlet. It's healthy for your mind. People who say it's not healthy for your body, forget that. George Burns lived to be 99.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, you're not inhaling the whole cigar. You know, if you are, you're doing it wrong. But you can have a nice life, and a healthy life is good for your social mind and spirit too. So I'm with Ty with that, as far as like it's therapeutic. It's like a spa for dudes, but also women as well. You know.
Exactly. Don't forget the ladies. Don't forget.
Fonzie says he gets his head cut by a bald man. You might want to get another barber and ask him why he was. Not just kidding. Not just kidding. No, I understand that, Fonzie.
So,
Yeah,
Coach,
go ahead, Ty. Go ahead, Ty.
how did your cigar smokers handle COVID? Because I seen the setup at some cigar lounges. It didn't look very enticing at all with all the
What was
COVID
your question?
restrictions.
He was asking about how do we deal with it during COVID.
Well, one of the lounges that I frequent in DC, they actually, because they're in DC, had to comply, like strictly comply, because they would get fined. So we definitely wore a mask. If we stood up in the cigar lounge and walked around and went over by the sticks, anytime you got up, you had to put on your mask. But if you're seated, just like at restaurants, if you're seated, you can smoke with your mask on. I mean, who can smoke with their mask on? Now, some people did create like little masks with like holes, like
Uh-huh.
they kind of hold their mask and try,
Mhm.
nobody's doing that. So it's funny because at the height of COVID, some of us were still going out. And people would say, what, is cigars smokers immune, to COVID because y'all are out? So my mother, for one, like every time I posted, like sometimes I wouldn't post pictures from events because she would call me the next day or she would put a comment, what you doing? You out there smoking? COVID, where's your mask?
Let me tell you, people were
So
such haters during COVID as cigar folks. And like y'all quit worrying about what we do. And also, we
Mhm.
also had the heat torches and outdoor areas, so we would do that. We would take advantage of that as well. So,
Yeah.
drunk chicken cigar said, "COVID what?"
Right.
I
Hey,
respected
Sean,
COVID, but
rem
yeah, we couldn't
remember
wait to smoke.
my friend Jay Brown that joined us, what, 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, that's right.
He built a cigar room in his house,
oh
fans and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
It's
I
time
have
Yeah.
to
two
visit
girlfriends. I have
Jay.
two girlfriends who have cigar like little lounges in their
Hmm.
home.
Hmm.
Two girlfriends.
That's in
Wow.
it deep.
It's time to visit Jay.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's time to visit
Oh
Jay.
yeah.
Lenessa, we're running short on your scheduled time. Do you want to hang around a little bit and talk to Tevin and keep smoking, or do you have to go?
I don't have anywhere to go. I'm home chilling on my deck, so I'm good to go.
I like that.
All
So
right.
when we bring up Tevin Scott, HU alum, who also worked on the Insecure set, and he's a comic actor himself. He's going to join us at 15 past the hour. When we bring him on, Lenessa will stick around and she'll ask questions like Ty and myself. So we're still here. We're still puffing pretty, puffing handsome, you know, puffing fly. And Ty ain't puffing, but
Puffin' gents.
You puffing gents. And Ty got himself a big-ass coffin and called it a damn starter humidor. That's a big-ass starter humidor.
It's really nice.
It looks really nice, Ty.
It is.
Yeah,
Now, that's hard. That's really difficult, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's something people don't talk about, is maintaining your cigars.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bad when it comes to maintaining cigars because there's an art form to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can smoke dry cigars, but it's not going to burn right. You have some issues with it right on gravel. But you do have to spend money. It's an investment.
Yeah.
Especially, you used the word addicted earlier, Ty. It can be very addictive.
Yeah.
And that's where the money comes in. Because when you go to a cigar lounge, typically they have minimums. Like there could be a 2-stick minimum, a $30 minimum, a $20 minimum. You might have to be a member. So you might even try to, ball out and do a monthly membership fee or pay an annual fee. But the point is, you have to maintain your sticks. So if you get a membership in the lounge, you can actually keep the cigars in their conditioned, you'll have your own cabinet, like your own locker. You can put your sticks, and they keep the sticks at a certain temperature. So you can do that, or you can try to be like me and maintain everything at home because you can't make a final decision on whether you want to become a member.
Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it get real competitive with the lockers. You know what I mean? And
you put your name on
treatment. Yeah. And then they get the big locker, and then they want to stand by the big locker so everybody knows that they got a locker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I've seen it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Get kind of out of hand. Yeah.
It can, but it's great to. My mom is still on. Hey, Mom.
Hey,
Mom
Mom.
Fred. That's my mom. Follow my mother. Follow Mom Fred. That's my mom.
I meet people that are really into it, that are really trying to mix and match the different flavors, and they'll find one that they really, really like. And then they have no problem, passing you like a halfway decent stick to be like, yo, you should try this, right? I'm getting a good idea of what you're into, the flavors that you like. Like, you should really try this. And if you do, just go get more. And it's just one of those things where it's kind of like, if you want to buy someone a drink, you just buy them a drink, and they just gonna get you back, at another time. Like, we don't really think about that at all. So the next time I might have extra sticks. So
you always
like
carry,
that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, most cigar smokers will carry, most like serious cigar smokers will carry extra sticks. Not always just to share, but you have to be ready because you might meet somebody who doesn't smoke cigars.
You might want to give them one, so you got to carry it around.
Right. But guess what? You're not going to always carry your best sticks either, because if you want to introduce somebody to a stick who's a new smoker,
you're not going to give them that.
But you're going to have like a lighter stick or just like a share stick. I always have a share stick with me. And then sometimes you have friends that just happen to not leave home with their cigars. You never leave home without your cigars. Like, that's rule number one. But there's always a friend that is willing to give you one. If you're somewhere where you can't purchase a stick, you'll find somebody who has one.
Yeah.
But I always have a share stick in my box or my purse.
Now, Lenessa, you podcast as well about cigars, don't you?
I do. I just joined Mr. Petworth of Petworth Cigars. He started the Smoking Jacket broadcast, and I'm honored to have been asked to be a part of the show. So we broadcast live every other Monday. So we just had a show this Monday. There's a special weekly show coming up next week, but then we'll have a regular program again after that. But we bring on industry professionals like cigar manufacturers, cigar distributors, cigar brand owners. Actually, Dad is up next in the regular program. Drunken Chicken Cigars will be up next in a regular program on Monday after next. But yes, the smoking jacket broadcast, and I usually post it on my page.
Mhm.
And we also have a YouTube channel, so I just started doing that. It's great.
Nice.
What's up?
It's a whole culture. It's a lifestyle, guys. You see me, half of my pictures on Facebook and Instagram, I have a stick in my hand or in my mouth. So that actually was a detriment because for my acting and modeling. Like, well, can we send
Really?
you without smoking? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you could, but
I got
But you know what? You still have to make your money now. You have to make your money. So
you have to be
there's a
smart about
balance.
that. No,
There's a balance.
absolutely.
I
So
got
that's why I have fresh pictures with just my actual face shown.
I got a question for y'all and,
Okay.
and everyone in the audience that does smoke. What's your go-to stick? One that you know that you're gonna enjoy every single time.
For me, it is a Hoya de Monterey Dark Sumatra.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
And for me, there are way too many to choose from. So what I do is I just smoke what suits my palate. It's like for wine. Like I'm not going to
Mhm.
pick one wine and just stick
Mhm.
with that because then I wouldn't be enlightened by things that I don't know. So
Mhm.
what I try to do is stay in a particular range. So I do like a medium to full body cigar versus
Mhm.
like one brand, one stick. I just have my palate is like all over the place. I used to smoke heavy cigars. Now I'm like in the lighter cigars. So I
Okay.
can't really pick. I don't have a go-to stick per se. I really don't.
Okay. Okay. I feel you. Mine is a Gloria Cubana Series R because I remember when I was first starting
Oh,
out, it was the first one that I liked. So
okay.
whenever I was undecided, I would just go back and get that, you know,
That's
as opposed
good.
to
That's
like
good.
trying something new and then I get it wrong and now I'm stuck with the stick for the next 45 minutes,
Well,
you know, because I ain't
Okay.
gonna throw it away, you know.
Right, right.
well,
But I have my cigars I won't smoke. I have certain cigars that I won't smoke because I tried it once and I'm like, I'm not doing
Yeah,
that. I'm not
yeah.
going to kill myself.
uh, Perdomo 10th anniversary Champagne. It says the mortgage gentleman. That's what he
Hmm.
says of Perdomo.
I saw a mother
So
clucker
we've
too.
just flown in Tevin Scott, fresh off of his job. This is our segue. We're going to smoke and talk a lot of things, and we're going to interview Tevin Scott. Tevin Scott, actor, comedian. He gave me one of my first full-fledged acting gigs as a student of Howard. He gave me an acting gig.
HU?
HU,
HU?
he gave me an acting gig for a short film called The Real HU, which will be uploaded on my website, but it's also on his YouTube as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Tevin Scott from his car. Tevin, can you hear us?
How y'all doing? I can hear you well. How are y'all?
Hey,
Sarah?
brother,
What's going on,
we're
Tevin?
doing well, and thank you. I know you got a busy schedule, and the time difference is complicated things, but I'm so glad you were able to make it, Tevin. Tell us what's
Oh
going
yeah,
on in
thank you for having me.
LA, and what are you working on at this moment?
Right now I'm working on a few things. As Shawn mentioned, yeah, we did that film, The Real HU, and that was kind of like the precursor to the biggest project that I'm working on right now, which is called the MECCA. It's a HBCU series. We're currently pitching that to networks. Um, we have
Awesome.
we have a 6-part miniseries online now. It's on IGTV and YouTube. Um, Yeah, you can view that at RTS Vision. It's basically about an awkward black boy trying to fit in at his HBCU. He comes from a predominantly white school background and he's basically trying to fit in. So it's like a fish out of water story, something that everybody can relate to, and it's also an HBCU love letter. I'm doing that, and I'm a freelance director out here. I direct music videos for artists. I'm also I'm a writer, so I have a couple of projects that I'm writing right now. And yeah, just trying to keep it going. I've been out in LA for 6 years now, and still trying to make the dream come alive.
Well, HU have a lot of alum that do very well, and you're a very talented brother, and you're very smart and funny too. And
Thank
I
you.
know some of your strong influences were really Generation X influences as well. Like we were coming up, we loved Spike Lee.
Hmm.
We loved A Different World.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of touches of that in some of the works that you've pushed out there. Can you talk about those influences, particularly with the MECCA, which is out on IGTV and what do you say, RTS.com?
Yeah, RTS Vision.
RTS Vision,
Yeah,
Race the States.
it's
That's what it
pronounced
is.
it's pronounced Artist Vision if you want.
Really?
It's
Oh,
pronounced Artist Vision. It's
damn
like
it.
RTS. But yeah,
Damn,
it's
that's a
called
license
RTS
plate.
Vision.
That's
Yep.
clever. I like it. I like it.
I know you
That's
like it.
artist
I know
vision.
you like it. That's
Yeah.
clever as hell. Artist vision. Why didn't I get that? I got a good
Yeah,
ECT
yeah.
score.
Also,
I
yeah,
didn't get
it
that.
does stand for Raise the Stakes, though. It stands for Raise the Stakes. It also stands for Real Tevin Scott, and it also stands for a bunch of things. But yeah, influences. Yeah, I mean, any black filmmaker, black man filmmaker, obviously you're gonna get some Spike Lee influence. He's basically like the Michael Jordan of film, if you will. Um, yeah, and I yeah, definitely grew up watching his work. Do the Right Thing, School Days, obviously. A Different World. Actually, A Different World. I was late to A Different World. Obviously, A Different World was actually it ended a year before I was born. So I was born in
I was
'94.
about to say, right. I was about to say, you
The
raised,
repeats.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of had to go back and discover A Different
Jesus.
World. Um,
Ty said Jesus. Like, damn, he's young.
yeah,
right.
but it's but it. I mean, basically, my goal was to make some. That's the thing, because my generation didn't grow up with the show. I would like to create something that my generation can identify with, and even the younger generation, Gen Z. They definitely need something to speak to them, and also we just need more content to highlight HBCUs. Um, And in Hollywood, they usually get it wrong. Like, I don't think they've gotten it right since A Different World and School Days, stuff like that. Most of the other stuff. I mean, I like Drumline's another one that was successful, but even that was like 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
So, they haven't really gotten it right.
Yeah, you're out there. And from my notices, when I was a reporter, when I used to review certain things, the notion of black people going to college and post-secondary education seems to be lost on Hollywood as well. Do you
Right.
feel that? Like, it's like they sort of just, all right, that was a nice little Heathcliff Huxtable era. Now let's throw it away and everything's a gritty crime drama.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even like in today's day and age, I feel like we're kind of even moving away from college, and like the idea of like that you need to go to college. Even in my opinion, I actually don't even think it's necessary education wise. But the thing about HBCU is it's not just about, the education. It's like the culture, it's the experience. Like there's no place on earth, especially as a young black kid, where you can truly like find yourself and be around a bunch of like-minded black individuals. So like I feel like if you don't go to HBCU, don't even go to college, honestly. I don't support none of these HBCUs.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
Or if you a basketball player, I mean, even like sports, I think we need more of our top athletes to go to HBCUs. But I'm not going to be on here promoting the PWI experience. I know you can get something out of there, but I just feel like even in the times we're living in, black people got to stay together. We got to go to HBCU.
Well, black people stay together at PWIs, trust me, because I went to University of Georgia and only the black folks hung out with each other.
Yeah,
Look, we need black people.
That is it's very scarce. It's very scarce, and it just kind of feels like you in some type of it feels very. It just doesn't feel as authentic, if you will, because
But
I've
we
had
need
that
black people
experience.
educated. We need black people educated. Period. Let's
Right.
be about normalizing just education. So I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. I get it. Because I went to Howard University. I didn't graduate from Howard, but I attended Howard, the MECCA, and my time there was phenomenal. So I get it.
But what I will say is when you're moving in circles that aren't just clusters of black people, being at a PWI gives you an opportunity to navigate different circles that aren't your own.
Right.
And that was a grand, knowledgeable thing for me. Coming up, I went to my black school. I was senior class president at a 99.5% high school.
Shawn, excuse me. BWI, can you enlighten us? Make sure everybody knows what you mean.
PWI.
PWI.
Predominantly white.
I'm sorry, predominantly white. Okay, I thought you were saying B. Okay, P, yes.
No,
okay, got it.
P, and Paul. Predominantly white. Yeah, so I went to the University of Georgia, and it was like, okay, there was 2,500 black folks out of 28,000 people. Now, the funny thing is that those 2,500, that's actually like a population of some black colleges, and we all found each other, and we supported each other, but we also had to navigate the white power structure at a young age. And so I do see some frustration beyond that. I'm not pro or anti either one because our HBCUs are doing a great job of educating people, But what I will want to segue with a little bit, there was the protest still flared up about the level of services provided to the students at Howard. And that was one of the main topics. That was the main topic of that short film that we were involved in, The Real HU, where the dorms weren't doing well, the financial aid was messed up. Can you speak to why is this something that persists? And how is there any way that we can, now that we're of alumni age and money folding age, can force the issue to get better services and quality of product delivered to our HBCU students?
Right. I think it's lack of funding, but I mean, even like Howard kind of doesn't have any excuses, because you kind of Howard don't got excuses. But I'll speak on to the other HBCUs. Definitely, it's lack of funding, but also I don't know. I just think that's just something in our culture. Like, we all Black people, we just
are we lax towards each other? Is that what we're saying?
We what?
Lax. We just get lax when we see another brown-faced person that we're
I guess we
doing
just,
business with.
Yeah, I honestly don't get it. Just like the idea, like how there's like the stereotype that Black people, we're always late. We just very, it's just I don't get it. I really don't get it. Why, at HBCU, why the financial aid, there's always those type of difficulties. Why the dorms got to be bad. It seems like we're getting better. I know Howard is for sure, but I mean, I'm not sure where that stems from, and I think most of it comes from a lack of funding when you talk about the other HBCUs, though.
Well,
and yes, the workers just don't be interested in their jobs. Like it's almost like they wanna make your life harder. But that's also what the thing about it is. That's the thing. That's what makes the HBCU experience what it is. Like when you, for example, when you go to like the best soul food restaurant, right? It's gonna take a long time. You're not gonna get the best customer service, but that food was worth it, right? So I feel like with HBCUs, you kind of have to go through that struggle. And that's the thing. I wouldn't want, like, I personally would prefer, Howard's gotten way better. I would not want to go to a school where, where everything is fine with the line. I like that. I like that struggle. It's almost like something that you need, that's what makes it good,
It sounds like you defining hazing.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little bit of a haze.
It is a haze, but it molds you into a better, it basically prepares you for everything. It prepares you for the world. It's kind of like, because this world is not kind to Black people. They're always going to put us through loops. So I guess HBCU is kind of its way of getting put through those loopholes by people who look like you, but still they care about you, but they're just preparing you for the real world.
Right. It's like you gain that grit. It's like getting that grit, like really getting in there and being able to experience something you can talk about.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, I don't want to make this like a bagging on HBCUs, because I actually love HBCUs. And I got 3 nieces and nephews getting put through Morgan State University. So God bless the HBCUs and the experience that they bring. But I did want to parlay that back to your web series, the MECCA, which is what you're pitching out there. First of all, how is it to pitch? What's the dynamics involved in pitching? And what do you think you have to compromise anything in your vision? How do you compromise your vision without you losing your vision when you pitch these projects? Because you want to get done. You want to get it done.
That's a great question. I actually hate pitching. Because it's all basically, I'm out here in Hollywood trying to pitch to white people. Hey, white man, make my TV show, make my. Who you gotta have in the room with you, but it's so much politics out
here. Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Lenessa.
So I know you're out in LA, but you weren't always in LA. Like, you didn't grow up in LA, right?
I did not grow up.
You didn't grow up in that area. Right.
Yeah.
So tell us about your journey. How did you get there? And what would be your best advice? I know that's kind of loaded, but what would be your best advice to somebody trying to break into the industry?
One, just don't listen to any of the myths that keep people from coming there, because people always kind of like wait, like, oh, I'm gonna move to LA when I get a job already, or when I get a car. No, I didn't do that. As soon as I graduated from Howard, I bought a one-way. I did not have anything figured out. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a car. I had probably like $700 in my bank account and made it happen. And you hear those stories. Even Taraji kind of has a similar story like that. But you just got to do it. You can't like have ducks in a row syndrome where I got to get this together. You got to just go after it. And I've been out here 6 years now. Haven't fallen on my face yet. I have gotten knocked down, but I've gotten up every time. But yeah, you just can't let any of the myths. I think that's what a lot of people do. They let other outside noise deter them from chasing their dreams, and they don't even want to climb the mountain because they hear all these stories about how hard it is to do it. But once you do it, you're in it. So, you just got to do it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Ty, you got
So
something?
you
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
truly-
Lenessa. You got to follow.
I do. But you
Sorry.
had something, Lenessa? You had a question? I know I had one, but I didn't want to overstep anybody. Am I muted?
No, I don't
We
think
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear you. No, he was asking if you had a follow up. He didn't want to step on you. There might be a slight delay, but if you
I'm good. I'm
she's
good.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, so I always like to find everyone's drive, right? I like to figure out what your why is. And you say you've been out there for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just trying to figure out what motivates you more. Is it the success? Is it the belief in your product, right? Or is it the story that you feel you need to get out?
I think it's a little bit of all, but definitely it's the story. And even each year that I've been out here, my story keeps getting so stronger and stronger and stronger that it's like, yeah, y'all, the world needs to hear my story. And I want to start with the MECCA is kind of like a story based on my Howard experience, but even my story since I've moved out to LA has been crazy, and just trying to navigate the industry. It's just gotten so crazy. I'll even tell you a story based even like the fairs. Like we actually did sell the show in 2020. We sold it to Quibi, but they went out of business.
Oh yeah,
They
that's
went out
right.
of
They sure
business.
did.
Yeah, so we sold it to Quibi, and it was like everything I could dream of. They were like, Tevin, we want you to run the show. You're going to do all this. And then I'm like, great, yes. Finally, somebody saw my vision. We're going to make it happen. And then they went out of business right before the contract. Even like they were supposed to actually.
Wow.
And Quibi was a streamer. And Quibi was a streamer that literally means quick bites. So your format, as you produced it,
It was, and that's the thing. So, and it was a blessing in disguise because while yes, it's great that I had this network that was going to, fund the show, we were going to have to compromise in the sense of like making it shorter and but me as a creator, I feel like I can't be boxed in and I can make anything work. But ideally, the goal for the show is to be a half-hour comedy, to be in the vein of like the Insecures and the Atlantas on a big, network. So like quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You about to say something?
Yeah, there's bigger and better things. But you
Right.
already name checked it. I was going to get there, so it's a perfect segue. If you could talk about your time on Insecure, were you a PA on Insecure?
Yeah.
Tell us, how is Issa Rae and Prentice? And didn't you win some sort of friend contest?
Yeah. So we weren't.
Dish a little bit, if you could.
It wasn't the typical PA job. This is probably like the dream PA job. Like, shout out to Issa and them for even creating this program. So basically, it's called the Insecure Onset contest. You make a 30-second video showing why you should be on the show, and then whoever gets picked, you basically get to shadow every department. So we were in the writer's room, casting, wardrobe, on set, in the editing. We saw every step of the show being put together from point A to point B. say that was the most amazing experience of my life, and I feel like that was almost like my grad school. Like getting that, it was like
Wow.
I was getting paid to go to grad school in a sense, and that's actually how we even got the experience to even be able to create my mini series at a high level. Because putting together a show is a hard thing. You can't do it. You need a whole bunch of people behind you. You need a whole lot of energy, and without the experience we got on Insecure, we would have never been able to make that. And yeah, Issa and Prentice, those are probably the top two most amazing people I've met since I've been out here. They've been everything. For
What
sure.
can you tell us about their process when they're crafting storylines and such? What are they thinking about? I remember reading one time Issa was like, we're not gonna turn Lawrence into another fuck boy. We're not just gonna make him be such and such. She was very protective of certain male characters. If anything, it sounded like she was like, put the burden on me. I'm the star of the show. Let me be the heavy for some of these situations. Can you tell us a little bit about the writing process of that show? Because there's, some people love the finale, and some people, like, now that time is evaded, past from the finale, like, they could have done such and such. But what can you tell us about their thought processes from what you know, observing them in the Insecure writers' room?
And I will say, out of the experience, the writers' room was the least amount of time we had. We did have a good week in there, and that alone, like, blew my mind just to see these stories being crafted real time, like the stories that Black Twitter is going to go crazy about. But it's a very thoughtful process. Like it's not, the onus is not just on one person. They have a team of writers making sure that every character is being done justice, and it's not too uneven. It was really amazing just seeing them those storylines.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? Y'all got some more questions? We're here with Tevin Scott, actor and doing stand-up comedy, I see, out there in LA. He's an HU grad. He's the writer, creator, producer of The MECCA, a web series that's on IGTV right now. And it's also on RTS TV. Vision. I need to write it down. RTSvision.com. That's Artist Vision for you all who are good at license plate reading. But yeah, we have Tevin Scott and we have Lenessa Terry from Puff and Pretty who has a question for Tevin. Go ahead.
I have a question. What is your take, Tevin, on the new Will Smith, Prince of Beverly Hills, like Prince of Bel-Air? Tell us, what's your take on that? Because I'm not sold, but I heard it's going to be really good and Will is a part of it and everything. What are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I'm not caught up yet, but I have seen enough to, have an opinion. I love the show. I think for people who are even trying to get into it or who haven't watched it yet, I think you can't watch it. Do not watch it as a reboot. Like it's its own new show. Like it's not to me. This is a reimagining, and I think in that this is probably like the best reboot that I've seen in Hollywood. Because most times in Hollywood they just reboot something.
But wait a minute, but you weren't born when it came out, were you? I mean, come on, you said that you went around with different. So were you?
I mean, no. Fresh Prince is timeless. Everybody in my generation was seeing it. Like we had the reruns on Nick at Night. We might have been not, or we probably were in diapers when it was actually on. But my generation definitely we know Fresh Prince and we know Martin. For sure.
Okay.
It feels like Bel-Air. I said this before. Bel-Air is like when you were a kid, you played with like Commodore 64s, and that's way before your time. You played with Commodores and those brands of computers, and then all of a sudden you get Microsoft, and your brain is all crossed up.
No, Atari.
Atari. But if
Atari.
Exactly. You know what I'm talking about. We know what we're talking about. But if you saw the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and you're like, okay, it's almost detrimental for you to watch the sitcom and say, oh, that's supposed to be whatever, because it's more distracting because you're still trying to connect the dots and you're still thinking this is nothing like what I saw. So you have to completely cleanse your mind and accept it for the drama that the new show is. And now that I've looked at it that way and you look at it with fresh eyes, it's on its own merits is a good piece of work.
Right.
But to expect the comedic elements and all those other things, that's not going to work for you.
Okay.
in that
I
regard.
haven't seen it at all. I've just seen some like trailers and I said, oh, this is different. Like this isn't the same. I was thinking about the comedic element of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably miss that. But like you said, Shawn, you have to look at it with fresh eyes. So when I watch it, I'll think about you.
Throwaway. Uh, watch new new take on it because it's a reimagining. It's not a reboot.
Ty, you got something you want to jump in here?
Yeah, I mean, I had a follow-up question for Tevin, and I haven't seen the new Fresh Prince either. But my question was, when you were out there, when did you feel like you belonged? Um, with the big dogs, was it an event? Was it the belief in yourself?
Hmm.
What was it? Was it a moment?
I think I've had a few of those moments sprinkled. That's the thing, because out here chasing this dream, like it's so hard,
Hmm.
and you get so many no's. Like I've gotten rejected so many times, but there are those moments where you get those confirmation, like I'm supposed to be here, and I definitely say that Insecure was definitely one of those moments. Getting that, I think, is
Hmm.
getting selected over like 500. That was like, okay, yeah,
Hmm.
be here.
Wow.
And then after we made the series, we did. That's the thing. I've been out here for 6 years, and most times to pitch a show, you gotta have like representation. You gotta have agents, managers. I was able to pitch to some of the biggest networks on TV with no management, just off of the strength of what we created with the Taste of the MECCA miniseries. Like
Hmm.
people saw that and they were like, "You deserve to have these meetings." So it was kind of like didn't need to have any extra connections or nothing. It was literally just they loved the work. So that was just another
Hmm.
confirmation. And then the Quibi, that was kind of like the, oh my gosh, I've made it, because that was like literally the first yes that I got. Because although we did pitch to a bunch of networks, all of them said no, but then Quibi said yes,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like, oh my gosh, it's
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
Oh, there it is.
Hmm. On a little lighter note, I wonder what dating is like out there. You meet someone, you'd be like, yeah, I'm in the show business, I produce movies, I know this person, I know that person. And they're
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, nigga, like everybody.
I've been trying.
That's everybody. Yeah.
I've been trying to refrain from doing any stand up on this call, but with the dating, that's all my stand up. But yeah, that's also crazy out here.
Mhm.
Just trying to find love out here while chasing your dreams. You know, but yeah, I'm not going to do no jokes tonight. But
Is it true that 90% of the people out there are good looking?
yeah, I'd say so.
to
Yeah,
them,
yeah. I mean,
90% of them are good looking to them.
but
Mhm.
also, I mean, you got a lot of people who just, there's obviously been a lot of work done.
Yeah,
But
Superficial. Totally superficial.
but
yeah.
also, I'm not really out in that part of LA. My world in LA has still remained very black. Like Howard has a big community out here.
Oh,
I'm always going to, black areas, so I'm not really in that superficial algorithm of LA. I'm still very much, my life still feels like a HBCU, if you will, because I am always around, black people, black
Okay.
creatives in the industry, and I also have my own events out here. We always have a lot of great black professionals out here, so I don't really get too much of the superficial vibe. You got to kind of
okay.
chase that. That's something that you got to look for. People say like there's not a lot of black people in LA. That's all a lie.
Not
We find
true.
some time to get around each other. You just have to find the right spaces and the right groups.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Never been. Never
You never
been.
been to
Heard
LA,
stories
Ty?
though.
You never been to
No.
LA?
Ty, you been to Korea,
Oh,
you been to
I've
Afghanistan.
I've I've only been to Hermosa Beach for a weekend.
okay.
That's it.
I've
Well,
been to
definitely.
LA. I went to LA for the weekend. Only once for a party at a ranch.
Oh, wow.
Wait a
There's
minute.
this,
Wait a minute. That's a whole
it,
nother show. A party at a
yeah,
ranch?
yeah. I mean, it was. Come on, Shawn, stop.
you, I didn't go to no party at a ranch. Bill
It was at
Cosby
a
went to some
ranch
parties at some ranches,
somewhere
and
on the
that's why he.
outskirts. Yeah, it was somewhere on the outskirts. Like I went to Hollywood and I went to Beverly Hills and Rodeo Drive and all that kind of stuff. But I went to a party at a ranch. There was this guy who lived here in DC, but he moved to LA. So the party was like like out by the tennis courts, and I mean it was elegant under a white tent. It was beautiful. But I haven't been since then. I've only been to LA once. That's sad. So we got to get out there, Ty. Come on, let's go to
Yeah.
LA.
We all
Let's
got to
go.
get out there. Let's bring out cigars. Do you smoke cigars? Tevin, do you smoke anything?
I smoke weed.
Okay.
I've never had
The weed smokers.
I
420, man. 420 is coming.
I would
420
smoke a
is
cigar with some weed in it. I would do that.
that is not a cigar.
That's not
but it is smoking.
Right.
That's chiefing right there. 420 is actually my sister's birthday. My sister, my youngest sister who's out there, she's in the entertainment business as well. And she's just got her SAG card. So congratulations to her. So maybe I can link her up with you, Tevin, and y'all can do some work. She's got some great projects coming on, and we're going to bring her back. She was on my first show.
Shawn, do you have your card? Do you have your SAG card?
So that's the thing. So if I get my SAG card, I feel like I need to move. So I did the mini series on HBO that's going to come up in the bottom of April, starting in May, like called We Own the City, and I'm a cop, and I got a couple of lines in that. And by SAG rules, you got some lines, you're SAG eligible. So all I need to do is start paying for it and get my license, get my card. The thing is, because I'm in DC, you know, the brand of gigs here are nothing like the brand of gigs out where Tevin is, or maybe even Atlanta. But if I do that, then I got to make some decisions as to where I'm going to live, because I won't be able to work the non-union gigs that are very lucrative in this market.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, all right, it's another tax bracket, right? But you're the lowest of that tax bracket, and now you got to make some decisions. Maybe you could talk about that, Tevin. You got a SAG card, don't you? Or
I don't have a SAG card,
you don't.
But I am SAG eligible, and
you're SAG eligible like I am. Yep.
Yeah, I got that thanks to Insecure. Because I was also a stand-in on Insecure, so that stand-in is basically someone who when they're setting up the shot for the cameras, you stand in for the real actor. So I was a stand-in. Got my SAG card that way. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on SAG for you? Are you going to get your card? Because you're trying to do things more behind the scenes, though, right?
No. Actually, I've ever since I did Taste of the MECCA, I've gotten way more serious about acting. But I'm chasing the acting dream a little bit differently. I'm not like trying to be on all the auditions rooms doing all the self tapes. I have a lot of friends who go through that, and shout out to them. That life is a struggle.
Yeah, he's breaking up. He's breaking up, Tevin. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it slows him down a little bit. I really wanted the answer to that question too.
It's coming in slow. It's coming in slowly.
I'll speed it up on the replay. Hold on a second. Yes, Kym. I know I told you to think big what you did. I heard you, and we if you seem like, you opened up the door and like the waves came in. Can you repeat that answer real quick again, Tevin? Because you started to slow down towards the end of your last response about getting a SAG card. You were saying that you didn't want to be. Shout out to all the actors who were like living and dying by every audition tape, but you weren't feeling that brand of the acting life, you know. Don't want me to get this answer.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
All right.
It's the West Coast internet. It's the West Coast crowd.
They, you know, their internet all chill. They all chill.
Oh man.
Y'all hear me?
Bollocks. We got St. Patrick's Day coming up, and that's where they would say bollocks.
Y'all can't hear me at all.
Tevin, if you can hear me. Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay,
It's better.
it's better.
Boy, if
Can
I
I?
try it again and it does the same thing, I'm gonna punch the screen.
Can y'all
All
hear me
right.
now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
So should I answer that question again? Let me answer it one more time.
One more time.
One
All
more
right.
again. 3 times. It's
Okay, one
gotta
more
go for
again.
3.
And
Let's see.
I also have to get ready. I have an 8 o'clock I need to get ready for.
No, that's
But
cool. That's cool. I got to do my Shawn Says and wrap up
so
the cut point. So yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah, go
answer this
ahead.
question, and I'm gonna leave y'all with one joke about dating in LA. Um,
Okay.
I'm gonna leave y'all with one joke. So I don't have a SAG card. I'm a comedian. I'm a writer. I see myself as a writer first, and I'm not really trying to do the whole self tapes and all of that stuff. Just that idea of just having somebody have to pick me and all these people that look just like you. Just that gives me anxiety, and I'm already been dealing with it a lot with just Hollywood telling me myself I'm not good enough to do anything of my own show, or whatever, if you will. But yeah, so I'm just trying to write my own roles, and I think there are other people that you can look to who've done that. Issa Rae, of course, she didn't wait for anybody to give her any acting roles. She just wrote the roles for herself, and I think that's kind of the lane that I'm trying to operate in. But
Dig it.
yeah, and with that said, he said dating in LA is crazy. I meet a lot of crazy people out here. Recently, also, before I even talk about that, so after I got all these no's in Hollywood, I kind of said, I was like, nah, I'm gonna take a break from the industry. Right? I ended up getting a job at a sex shop.
A sex show.
Yeah, a sex
Sex
shop.
shop.
I was selling sex toys. I was selling sex
Sex
toys. Right?
sells, and it's $1 billion business. Why not?
It's $1 billion business, right? So I met this one girl. I told her I work at a sex shop. She was like, "Oh, so you're a sex worker?" And I was like, I was like, kinda. And she was like, "Oh, me too." She was like, "Me too. I work on Crenshaw and 69th." Yeah, she's a sex
Wait a
worker as
minute.
well.
Is she calling a corner her office?
Yeah, that's her office. She said she work on Crenshaw 69th. She was like, "I specialize in wet work." And I was like, "Wet work? What's that?" She said, "I pee on men for money." I'm not making this up. She said she pees on men for money. I was like,
she met Trump in Moscow.
She's
yeah,
a golden shower specialist.
yeah. And I was like, really? She was like,
That's
oh,
what she put on the resume. Yeah.
she was like, it's a great paying business. I got 8 clients right now. And I was like, hold on, you got 8 men that pay you to pee on them? Oh, you got multiple streams of income, huh?
I get it.
Then she asked me,
Really, Tevin? Really streams?
Mhm.
Okay.
multiple streams of income. And then you wanna know what she had the nerve to tell me? She asked me if I wanted to be number 9. Girl, that pissed me off. Thank you. That's Tevin. My name is Tevin.
Ladies
I
and gentlemen.
knew it was coming. I was waiting for the punchline. I knew
Thank
it
you,
was
good
coming.
night, everybody. Fuck you,
I do a for the
Tevin Scott,
people.
everybody.
For the people, if you're ever in LA, I host a monthly show in LA in Inglewood, and I also do comedy all the time, all over LA. Just look at my Instagram, follow me for any dates, upcoming dates, and yeah,
Okay.
you guys are gonna see the MECCA soon. And Shawn, me and you, we're gonna work again today. We're gonna work again sometime. We're definitely gonna work again for sure.
We're definitely gonna work again. Yeah. I'm so blessed that this cat actually launched my acting. It's not like I'm big Hollywood, but I would say I'm 95 percentile of the DMV market of people who get asked for stuff. And Tevin, by giving me that showcase centerpiece, I gave him 2 accents. He said, be the president and give me the Caribbean accent and give me an African accent. He liked the African accent. And we did that. And we rocked it out in one day. I took my little $100 on that rainy day at Howard University during spring break. And I've been following this cat ever since. And no one's more proud than me when he won that competition. And like, that motherfucker's going to get up and see my girlfriend, Issa Rae. And that is fantastic. I always wish you much success. Taste of the MECCA. He's pitching it. It was on Quibi until COVID happened and wiped out Quibi. But God bless you, Tevin. Follow him on IGTV, on IG at The Real Tevin Scott. Lenessa, I'm going to wrap this up. Lenessa Terry with Puffin Pretty, Puffin_Pretty, and check her out online at www.puffin.com and buy her products and find her and all her exploits. You know where to find me and Ty. I'm going to wrap this up. If everyone could just mute their mics real quick with a Shawn Says, and then we'll edit. And anybody who wants to stick around, we'll do a quick overtime. But this is Shawn Says. Just have to do that because I ain't got no graphics on IG. Shawn Says, the Ides of March. So, the Ides of March brought on the official pronouncement of the coronavirus pandemic 2 years ago. And back then, we were told as much as 50% of the country could be infected before this is all said and done. And granted, the virus is not uber deadly, but with a death rate between 1% and 2% and exposure to half the nation's populace of 325 million, well, do the math. The death rate could equate to an atom bomb going off in Philadelphia, Houston, or Dallas. That's essentially 30 9/11s. 30 9/11s. Ladies and gentlemen, I wrote that 2 years ago. Flash forward to today. Those nuclear bombs went off. Those 30 9/11s happened because over 950,000 deaths later, over 1,400 deaths a week still later, over 81 million cases, with the potential of those actually being 200 million cases uncounted later. That was the result. Now, as some of you know, I acquired a blended spice business where I sell packets that can be transformed into dips and food spreads, yada, yada, yada. And this past weekend, it was the first time I sold the goods at a public expo since COVID. 2 years ago, early March, I heard all the naysayers about the coronavirus pandemic. It's not a real threat. It's going to be like they said. It ain't going to be nothing like they said. Nothing will come of it, yada, yada, yada. Well, 2 years later, I look around and some of the same naysayers carried themselves a little differently. They were humbled by the inability to work in the open, and they were full of cryptic silence about things that happened in the 2 years. I felt the ghost of COVID there as well. My former booth neighbor, the older man in the wheelchair with his niece helping him gather home renovation inquiries, gone. The guy who sold that beef jerky, who always stopped by my booth, nice white guy, gone. And as for the familiar faces that I saw again who weren't gone, even the skeptics, even the God-fearers, the blowhards, they all gave a somber, telling smile. They shook my hand and they said, "It's good to see you again, my friend." And I say it's good to be seen. And we look in the direction of those lost vendors, and we notice how the humanity slowly poured in from the exhibition hall doors. And we were grateful for the chance again to see people again, and grateful for survival. Maybe during this Lenten season, we God-fearers and COVID deniers will remember that the same good Lord is rather deft with his use of the coming plagues. That concludes the Shawn Show. I'll play this music. I want to thank everybody. And for those who want to hang around, we'll do a little quick overtime. It's late. Thank you so much, Tevin. Thank you so much, Lenessa. Thank you, Ty. And this is our cut point for the Shawn Show. Thank you, folks. All right. We're on overtime. So anybody want to chat for a little bit? We chat for a little bit.
Yeah, I always got to brace myself for the Shawn Says.
Ty never knows what I'm going to say during the Shawn Says.
So what normally happens during overtime, Shawn?
What's that, man?
What normally happens during overtime?
What normally happens?
Yeah.
It's a free-for-all. So it's a panel. We could discuss things that we just discussed. We could talk whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be to the format. It's just extra material. That's a bonus for anybody who watched us on IG, because it's not on YouTube.
It normally gets out of hand.
It often gets out of hand. It can't tonight. I got to get up in the morning, but it can't tonight.
What time you have to get up?
6.
Oh, okay. I can sleep in it.